There it is. All right, spinning tires was the name of the game last night. It was like a NASCAR race, but they weren't going anywhere. Tires are spinning out all over. It smelled like burnt rubber throughout all of the connector here in between North Avenue and 10th Street. And there were people getting out and pushing cars. There were people hanging off the backs of trucks, tailgating, bouncing on cars just to put a little weight back there to get that rear wheel drive, to get the friction on the road, to get it to go forward. There were UPS trucks that skid out, FedEx trucks, other cars that went sideways. It was just crazy. So last night. It was just like engines revving, loud, crazy, scary, all that stuff. I don't know how to describe it. I've been up for all night, but from the morning. Take a look at that video we shot this morning. You can see that it was a complete parking lot here on I-20. Folks were hunkered down in their cars all night. We talked to one family who drove from Norfolk, Virginia. They were in the car for 28 hours. When you include the 17 hours they lasted and slept right here on the side of I-20. They had a small child with them. There were some people out this morning doing good work, giving out water, taking care of their neighbors. We saw folks out looking for their families. We saw one gentleman who drove down the side of I-20 in an SUV, literally standing up, calling his father's name. His father was elderly, so he wanted to get him out of this. We talked to the guy.
Now, before we go, we want to check in one more time with Sky Fox 5's Chris Lucas. He has an aerial view of really, it's just a nightmare on the road still this morning. Chris, you're at 285 and West Paces Ferry?
285 and Paces Ferry, that's right here in Vinings, Karen. Taking a live look out of Sky Fox 5. People, we cannot stress it enough. If you are somewhere warm, safe, have some food, please stay there until these roadways start to thaw a little bit later on this afternoon. Looking here, 285 in Vinings and Paces Ferry. Absolute gridlock on the west side. Chris Lucas, Fox 5 News.
All right, Chris, thank you for that. Also, let's send it over to Fox 5 Storm Team meteorologist Joanne Feldman for one final check of our forecast. We're going to be on all day.
Well, the nightmare continues. This is 285 at Cobb Parkway. Look at all those cars. Some people spent the night in them. Some people just left them abandoned on the roadway.
Russ, it really has been a bad, bad dream for so many in the metro Atlanta area. They are stuck. They are waiting. And right now, with no place to go, no end in sight at this point, it has been a miserable night for a lot of people here in the metro Atlanta area and for students. Some students, we understand, are still stuck on school buses where they had to sleep all night. And of course, you know, worried parents are getting very, very anxious this hour.
Absolutely. It was precisely 20.
Welcome back to CBS Atlanta News. In our state of emergency, as we continue to cover winter weather, here's a live look over the metro Atlanta area, and we can still see a lot of vehicles still stranded on the roadways. We are almost going into the 24th hour of this. Of course, the snow started falling yesterday just before noon. Now here we are at almost 10 o'clock on Wednesday morning, and we can still see a lot of vehicles on the road, either kind of skidding in place or maybe abandoned by people who just decided to go ahead and walk. They couldn't get any further.
And Tracy, as Jim just mentioned a second ago, you know, we're certainly still covering the weather forecast, but with no precipitation forecasted for today, that becomes a little less part of our coverage, and we really move forward today with still traffic, as again, you're looking at live pictures here from our CBS Sky Eye. So traffic, obviously, still a huge story that all of our crews will be covering today. And also today, we are going to be hearing more finally from state officials. We're expecting to hear from Mayor Kasim Reed coming up in about 5 minutes. He's scheduled to talk to reporters. Still seeing scenes like this. I mean, look at this. And these roads are still, in many places, still a pretty solid sheet of ice, because if you look at the temperature bug there at the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, we're at 13 degrees. This stuff is not melting.
It's not melting. We're getting a little bit of sun, but it's not really doing quite enough. Now look at that. There on the shoulder there, we see a lot of GDOT crews, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, looks like about 5 salt and sand trucks, hopefully trying to get out on the roads. And that's what they were asking for yesterday. The governor and the mayor also asking for people not
closed campus yesterday at 1:30. And I ended up leaving at 2:30. Started heading. I live in Smyrna, and so my route home is usually 75 to 285. At first, I thought I would be smart and take a couple of back roads. That was not a good move. ended up turning around, getting back on 75. 75 last night around 10 or 11 was just a nightmare. And currently I'm on 285, and just as we've been speaking, I moved for the first time in 7 hours.
Oh,
so.
wow. Wow. Dean, I want to ask you this because this is what we're wondering. Did people stuck on the highway, did they keep their engines running to stay warm, or did they turn the car off to save gas?
Well, if you're like me, you did both. What I try to do is, because I'm down to about less than a tenth of a tank of gas right now, but at the top of the hour, I would turn the engine on and I would run it for 15 minutes, and then I would turn it off and try to hang in there until the next top of the hour. I saw a lot of people last night that just ran out of gas right in the middle of the highway and put on their flashers and walked away.
Wow.
Dean, I know contrast from what Craig was showing us earlier this morning.
Let's see what the situation is on I-75 southbound at Langford Parkway. This is where we have CBS Atlanta's Tony McNary.
Hey, Michelle, and this is the view from the camera that's on the mast on top of our truck. This is traffic behind us on I-75 southbound. I'm going to switch the views.
All right, it looks like we lost Tony's live shot for us. Tony, you're still there? All right. Yes.
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, I pressed the wrong button. My bad. We want to show you what it looks like right now. This is what traffic looks like going into downtown. There has been a little movement. You see this gap right now. The vehicles have tightened up somewhat. That is the Langford Parkway exit. The next exit where we are actually is Cleveland Avenue and then Langford Parkway. We've been out here since midnight yesterday. Several truckers, several drivers, several stranded drivers out here. Marcus Field turnaround. Several truckers are behind us. There's a little. These two truckers actually, the backside of the trailer slid over and hit each other. They've been sitting here. We're going to actually have to move our truck here in a minute because it looks like traffic is moving somewhat in front of us. A lot of cars, a lot of traffic, a lot of ice. But people seem to be patient. You know, there was a woman whose battery died. I think she was able to get a jump. Some truckers are concerned about running out of gas. So once the traffic does start to move, that may become an issue. You know, truckers just sitting here unable to move because they don't have gas and aren't able to get their vehicles started. But it looks like there is some movement. So we're going to have to go back to our live truck because we are on the interstate in the fast lane, which is not fast right now, but we are right here in the thick of it. And
temperature of 31 degrees.
And right now, we want to get you over to Cobb County because we have quite a mess on our hands. Take a look at this nastiness. Thornton Hill and Douglas Hill, it looks like right now drivers aren't going anywhere. Basically a parking lot of a county fair, if you want to call it that. We've seen a couple of drivers walking around and no one, again, is going anywhere. Now, for those stranded vehicles, a tow truck may be coming through soon and then sweeping them off to the side of the road so that GDOT crews can get through and treat the roads and help stranded drivers get home as quickly as possible. And in order for them to do that, they need you and me to stay home and stay off the roadways if you possibly can. Keep that in mind because GDOT has a lot of work to do, again, freeing up stranded passengers and drivers, getting them on their way home. That's a look at traffic. Michelle and Frank, let's send it back to you two.
All right, Stefan, we want to squeeze this update in really fast about it.
Even crews having a hard time trying to get to that area to rescue folks. And then checking in on 85 north and southbound here on the south side, working into the city. These northbound drivers just stuck there trying to get up toward 285 where it's jam-packed in either direction. So they're working their way 85 northbound. We've had several folks say, hey, my husband, my wife, they're stuck in this. They're not hearing anything. They're not moving an inch. And that's just what what we're seeing here. They've got the thick ice right there on 285, and 285 is blocked in either direction. So these cars really have nowhere to go once they get up to the perimeter. But we're still working around all around the metro area. We've got eyes all over the roadways. We'll keep you updated. Buck, back to you.
Katie, thank you. It's 9:19. We've had some incredible visuals this morning from Sky Fox 5, and we're going to go back and check in with Chris Lucas now.
Okay, Chris, where are you now and what are you seeing? Oh, my.
Well, Karen and Buck, we've been showing you the interstates mainly all morning long since we took off right at daybreak, but we're here in Douglas County, south of I-20. This is Thornton Road, south of I-20, near Douglas Hill Road. And this is not a traffic jam. These are all abandoned vehicles that have been here from at least sometime yesterday afternoon. People are starting to wake up and get out of their cars. I've seen a few people walking around, people sitting on bumpers. This traffic is going absolutely nowhere. That's why we're advising you, if it looks good around your home or business where that you took shelter last night, stay in until you hear word that the roads have improved. As here, this side street in Douglas County, one of the main thoroughfares, Thornton Road, is completely jammed at this time. We showed you earlier pictures on the West Freeway, I-20 westbound, headed from Fulton Industrial Boulevard. Vehicles trying to get up Six Flags Hill. That is not possible right now because the DOT crews are out there doing salt and sand. On the west side, Chris Lucas, Fox 5 News.
That picture says it all, quite honestly. And I'm actually right now on Atlanta America's.
And so they have arrived here. The Georgia Army National Guard is on scene. Let me tell you why they're out here. They told us it was by the governor's orders. Look at this. Interstate 285 still a jam with all the big rigs on the eastbound side. I mean, on the westbound side, the eastbound side is moving, it's crawling, but it's still crawling. And look at all of those stranded, abandoned vehicles on the side of the road there. And this is kind of why the Georgia National Guard arrived here today. First, let's look at this hill. This is the hill that has been the big problem here on Ashford Dunwoody. You see all the cars stranded on that hill? That's the problem. Now let's go to some of that video of these guys coming to our rescue. They came, about 45 minutes ago and put a big chain into the bumper of our news vehicle and pulled it out of the ice. We were stuck in the ice like dozens of other vehicles. We decided to leave it there last night about 6 o'clock because if we would have kept going, I think we would have been.
Atlanta is brought to you by Verizon 4G LTE, America's largest 4G LTE network.
Welcome back, everybody. Time right now is 9:48. If you are watching us right now, you probably are in the comfort of your home, which is a good thing, or at least in a shelter. If not, if you have family and friends who are out there, boy, I tell you what, our thoughts and prayers are with them. We do appreciate all the updates we're getting, though, on Facebook, Twitter, also by email, too. I want to show you a couple that we've gotten in. This is from Fox 5 Atlanta, so you can always post your pictures or your reports right to our Facebook page, and we'll see them immediately. This one comes in from Kyle, who says, it's a solid sheet of ice right now. They'll be here for a while in Ellenwood, Georgia. And look at that shot there. I love that roundabout there. You can really see it is totally iced over. It looks like a skating rink. So a lot of folks are trapped in their homes there. Here's a report that came in, this one from Jeremy and Tricia. And she says, my husband's been out there since 2:30 p.m. He was finally able to get off and take some side streets. I'm hoping he'll be back within the hour. Since 2:30 p.m. he's been out there. So we hope so, too. And finally, Joyce says, here's the view that she has of the ice storm. And I think this is the best one from Jackson. There it is, right in the comfort of the home. Got a fire going to the fireplace and Doug Evans on your television screen. So hopefully you all are safe and sound, because if you're not, you're stuck in traffic. And let's take a look at some more shots from Skyfox right now. Skyfox 5 has been all over the area this morning, and look at these shots of gridlock. Just a total disaster. And I believe the shots you're seeing right now are 285 westbound around Roswell Road. And boy, I tell you what, not only is there a huge backup, but notice the other side of the highway looks like it's clear. Well, it wasn't actually clear. It was the fact that there was a semi-tractor trailer wreck, and that part of the highway was closed. So either direction, boy, it's tough going this morning. So stick with us. We'd love to see your weather pictures and your video. You can send them on email, weather at myfoxatlanta.com. You can go to Facebook, Fox 5 Atlanta, or tweet us at Fox 5 Atlanta. When you do so, use the hashtag Fox 5 Snow. And our coverage continues.